Great British Bake Off is due to return to viewers' TV screens on September 13, but in a brand new promo interview ahead of its launch, it sounded as if the competition had already begun. Paul Hollywood, 56, exclaimed that Mary Berry hates host Prue Leith, 82, as the pair clashed over opinions about Victoria sponge cake. First, Paul insisted on calling the widely salivated over dessert dish a Victoria sandwich, insisting that there was no such thing as a Victoria sponge. Next, Prue challenged him over the correct method of making one to guarantee maximum flavor sensation. She suggested that the best way was to cream the sugar and butter together first, whereas Paul said he could see no difference in taste between that method and the more relaxed approach of chucking all the ingredients in at once. Prue fought back that the all-in-one method was specific to Mary Berry and was a little heavier, more solid. On hearing that, Paul instantly burst into laughter and began to chant, "Mary hates Prue. Mary hates Prue." Prue suggested the merit in a scientific test to see which technique was the best, before swiping at his co-star. "I'll tell you what, Paul Hollywood, I probably lift up Mary Berry's cake book a little more than I do yours." She added that she took inspiration from Paul when it came to bread and Mary in all things cake-related. However, even bread is something the feisty pair were unable to agree on during their debate. Paul described sourdough as the mother of all breads, which had been around for 5,000 years. Prue, on the other hand, argued that her favorite bread was focaccia, for its versatility, enthusing that it could be eaten without so much as a layer of butter. She argued in the Radio Times, "It's also a great base for anything. You can put a poached egg on top or a can of baked beans." Prue also admitted during the interview that in the past, prior to joining the show, she hadn't been at all interested in baking, yet the GBBO bakers had ignited her passion for it. Both TV personalities were thrilled to be back at Welford Park in Berkshire for the 2022 series, a sign that life is returning to normal for the show following the pandemic and bubble rules. Prue believes that, in spite of any bickering, the teamwork will be impeccable this time around, as ever. "All the bakers always become friends and we don't do anything to make that happen," she exclaimed, revealing that it takes place organically. The friendly atmosphere hadn't always been present, though. In fact, Mel Giedroyc and Sue Perkins almost resigned on their first day of filming. The pair agreed to stay only after they'd had words with producers about creating a kinder show. In a previous Radio Times interview, Sue explained, "It was not a kind show. They were pointing cameras in the bakers' faces and making them cry and saying, 'Tell us about your dead gran.'" She added, "We had very stiff words about how we wanted to proceed." However, she added that the show was now out of that state, and Prue would seem to agree, despite the playful bickering over biscuits and bread, not to mention how to recreate that delectable Victoria sponge. Of course, as regular viewers will be aware, Mary Berry left the show, reportedly out of loyalty to the BBC when it switched over to Channel 4, and filmed her last series in 2016. Nevertheless, there will still be plenty of fun with judges Paul and Prue, plus presenters Matt Fielding and Matt Lucas. Prue will be waiting for a standout showstopper moment that tops her previous one, Russell Brand's wife's vagina-themed biscuits. "At first I thought, this is going to be so embarrassing, but he talked so passionately about the birth of his daughter, how this was the giver of life, and the symbol of motherhood. He obviously meant it all," she explained. The Great British Bake Off will return on September 13 at 8 p.m. on Channel 4, while the full interview with Prue and Paul is available in the latest issue of the Radio Times.